guess what? We got a new Patreon requested book, and it's called The Sealed Nectar. I got the smaller one because I can read it at work. I've read a lot of little tiny pocket books. The one I usually take to work is The Sayings of the Buddha, that were written by some of his disciples. I read it like 7 times. I also have one of Gilgamesh of the Hindus. So I can take this to work, read it with you, and then reread it while I'm at work. And so, let's see how it works out. That way I don't spoil it for myself at work, but I'll reread what we've read and then do live reacts reading it with you, all of you. I feel excited for this. This is going to be cool. I can already tell. Okay. We are on page 28, and the page says Location and Nature of Arab Tribes. And then on the bottom says Location of the Arabs. Linguistically, the word Arab means deserts and barren land without water and vegetation. Ever since the dawn of history, this term has been used for the Arabian Peninsula and its people. The Arabian Peninsula is enclosed in the west by the Red Sea and Sinai, in the east by the Arabian Gulf, in the south by the Arabian Sea, which is an extension of the Indian Ocean, and in the north by Old Syria and part of Iraq. The area is estimated between 1 million and 1,300,000 square miles. Thanks to its geographical position, the peninsula has always maintained great importance. Considering its internal settings, it is mostly deserts and sandy places, which has made it inaccessible to foreigners and invaders, and allowed its people complete liberty and independence through the ages, despite the presence of 2 neighboring great empires. Its external setting, on the other hand, caused it to be the center of the old world and provided with sea and land links with most nations at the time. Thanks to this strategic position, the Arabian Peninsula had become the center for trade, culture, religion, and art. I think that's an important detail, especially for people who constantly slam the Arab world. I think we often forget that it created algebra and obviously it was a cultural center. Okay, now it says Arab tribes. Arab peoples have been divided according to lineage into 3 groups. 1. Perishing Arabs. The ancient Arabs, of whose history little is known, and of whom were Ad, Thamud, Tasm, Jadis, Emlak, and others. Number 2. Pure Arabs, who originated from the progeny of Yarub bin Yashjub bin Qatan. They were also called Qatanian Arabs. 3. Arabized Arabs, who originated from the progeny of Ishmael. They were also called Adanian Arabs. The pure Arabs, the people of Qatan, originally lived in Yemen and comprised many tribes, 2 of which were very famous. And then it says A. Himyar, the most famous of whose ancestors were Zayd al-Jamhur, Kuda, and Sakasik. That's a cool name. And then it says B. Callan, the most famous of whose ancestors were Hamdan, Anmar, Tai, Mudhij, Kinda, Lakum, Judham, Azd, Al, Khazraj, and the descendants of Japhna, the kings of old Syria. The Kullen Tribes emigrated from Yemen to dwell in the different parts of the Arabian Peninsula prior to the Great Flood. They did this due to the failure of trade under the Roman pressure and control of both sea and land trade routes following the Roman occupation of Egypt and Syria. Naturally enough, the competition between Callan and Himyar led to the evacuation of the first and the settlement of the second in Yemen. The emigrating tribes of Callan, I think that's an important thing to note. These tribes moving around can be divided into 4 groups. 1. Al-Azd, who wandered in Yemen, sent pioneers under the leadership of Imran bin Amir Musaykaya, and finally headed to the north and the east. Details of their immigration can be summed up as follows. Thalaba bin Amr left his tribe Al-Azd for Hijaz and dwelt between the Labia and Dahir Kar. When he gained strength, he headed for Medina, where he stayed off his descendants, Aus and Khazraj, sons of Haritha bin Thalaba. Haritha bin Amr, known as Kuza, wandered with his offspring in Hijaz until they came to Mar az-Zahran. Later they conquered the Haram and settled in Makkah after having driven away its people, the tribe of Jurhum. Imran bin Amr and his family went to Oman, where they established the tribe of Azd, whose offspring inhabited Tihama and were known as Ads of Shanua. Jaffna bin Amr and his family headed for Syria, where he settled and initiated the kingdom of Ghassan, who was so named after a spring of water in Hijaz, where they stopped on their way to Syria. And it says, number 2, Lakham and Judham, of whom was Nasir bin Rabi, founder of Mandadhira, kings of Hira. 3. Banu Tai, who also immigrated northward to settle by the so-called Aja and Salma mountains, which were accordingly named the Tai Mountains. 4. Kinda, who dwelt in Bahrain but were expelled to Hadramaut and Najd. They had no strength here as they had none in Bahrain, so they settled in Najd. There they had an important rulership, although it did not last long, for the whole tribe soon faded away. Another tribe of Himyar, known as Kuda, also left Yemen and dwelt in the Samwa Desert, on the borders of Iraq. The Arabized Arabs got back in ancestry to their great-grandfather Ibrahim, peace be upon him, from a town called Ar, near Kufa, on the west bank of the Euphrates in Iraq. Excavations brought to light many details of the town, Ibrahim's family, and the prevalent religions and social circumstances. It is known that Ibrahim, peace be upon him, left Ar for Haran and then for Palestine, which he made headquarters for his message. He wandered all over the area. When he went to Egypt, the Pharaoh tried to do evil to his wife Sarah, but Allah saved her, and the Pharaoh's wicked scheme recoiled on him. He thus came to realize her strong attachment to Allah, and in acknowledgement of her grace, the Pharaoh rendered his daughter Hagar at Sarah's service. But Sarah gave Hagar to Ibrahim, peace be upon him, as his wife. And Ibrahim returned to Palestine, where Hagar gave birth to Ishmael, peace be upon him. Sarah became jealous of Hagar and forced Ibrahim to send Hagar and her baby away to Plantless Valley in Hijaz, by the sacred house exposed to the floods from the north and south. He chose for them a place under a lofty tree near the upper side of the masjid in Mecca, where neither people nor water were available, and went back to Palestine, leaving a leather case with some dates and a vessel of water with his wife and baby. Before long, they ran out of both food and water, but thanks to Allah's favor, water gushed forth to sustain them for some time. The story of Zamzam spring is well known to everybody. The Zamzam spring. Another Yemen tribe, Juhurum II, came and lived in Mecca upon Hagar's permission. After being said to have lived in the valley around Mecca, it is mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari that this tribe came to Mecca before Ishmael was a young man, while they had passed through the valley long before this event. Ibrahim, peace be upon him, used to go to Mecca every now and then to see his wife and son. The number of these journeys is still unknown, but dependable historical references have mentioned 4. Allah the Sublime stated in the Noble Quran that he had Ibrahim, peace be upon him, see in his dream that he slaughtered his son Ishmael, peace be upon him, and therefore Ibrahim, peace be upon him, stood up to fulfill his order. Then, when they had both submitted themselves to the will of Allah, and had laid him prostrate on his forehead, or on the side of his forehead for slaughtering, and we called out to him, O Ibrahim, you have fulfilled the dream vision. Verily thus do we reward the muhsinun, good doers, who perform good deeds totally for Allah's sake only, without any show off or to gain praise or fame, etc., and do them in accordance to Allah's orders. Verily that indeed was a manifest trial, and we ransomed him with a great sacrifice, i.e., a ram. It is mentioned in Genesis that Ishmael, peace be upon him, was 13 years older than his brother Ishaq, peace be upon him. The sequence of the story of the sacrifice of Ishmael, peace be upon him, shows that it would really happen before Ishaq's birth, and that Allah's promise to give Ibrahim, peace be upon him, another son, Ishaq, came after narration of the whole story. The story spoke of one journey at least before Ishmael became a young man. Al-Bukhari, on the authority of Ibn Abbas, reported the other 3 journeys, a summary of which goes as follows. After Ishmael, peace be upon him, became a young man, having learned Arabic from the tribe of Juhurum. Oh, he wasn't born knowing Arabic? Oh, okay. He spoke Hebrew? Or some ancient language like that? Okay, he learned Arabic from the tribe of Juhurum, who loved him with great admiration and gave him one of their women as wife. His mother died. Wanting to see his wife and son again, Ibrahim, peace be upon him, came to Mecca after Ishmael's marriage, but he did not find him at home. He asked Ishmael's wife about her husband and how they were doing. She complained of poverty. So he asked her to tell Ishmael to change his doorstep. Ishmael, peace be upon him, understood the message, divorced his wife, and got married again. According to the most common saying, he married the daughter of Mudad bin Amr, chief of the tribe of Juhurum. Once more, Ibrahim, peace be upon him, came to see his son, but again did not find him at home. He asked his new wife the same previous question, upon which she thanked Allah. Ibrahim, peace be upon him, asked her to tell Ishmael to keep his doorstep, i.e., to keep her as wife, and went back to Palestine. A 3rd time, Ibrahim, peace be upon him, came to Mecca to find Ishmael sharpening an arrow under a lofty tree near Zamzam. That's where the water is, right? The meeting, after a very long journey of separation, was very touching for a father so affectionate and a son so dutiful and righteous. This time, father and son built Al-Kaaba and raised its pillars. So Ibrahim and his Ishmael built it. And Ibrahim, peace be upon him, in compliance with Allah's commandment, called unto people to perform pilgrimage to it. You know what's interesting? That's not mentioned in the Bible, that Abraham built the Kaaba. That's an interesting difference, right? By the grace of Allah, Ishmael, peace be upon him, had 12 sons from the daughter of Mudad, whose names were Nabet, Kedar, Edbael, Mebsham, Mishma, Duma, Mika, Hudud, Yetma, Yetur, Nafis, and Kidman, and who ultimately formed 12 tribes inhabiting Mecca and trading between Yemen. 12 tribes. 12 tribes, 12 sons. Number 12. Trading between Yemen, geographical Syria, and Egypt, though it says. Later on, these tribes spread all over and even outside the peninsula. All their offspring became untraceable, except for the descendants of Nabet and Kedar. The Nabataeans, son of Nabet, established a flourishing civilization in the north of Hijaz. They instituted a powerful government that spread its domain over all neighboring tribes, and made Petra their capital. Nobody dared challenge their authority until the Romans came and managed to eliminate their kingdom. Learning a lot about the Romans, right? A group of investigating scholars inclined to the view that the Ghassanide kings, along with the Aus and Khazraj, were not Kahatanians, but rather descendants of Nabet, the son of Ishmael, who remained in the region. Imam al-Bukhari also inclined to this view, and al-Hafiz ibn Hajar preferred the view that Qatan was among the descendants of Nabat. Descendants of Kedar, the son of Ishmael, peace be upon him, lived long in Mecca, increasing in number. Of them issued Adan and his son Ma'ad, to whom Adanian Arabs trace their ancestry. Adan is the 21st grandfather in the series of the prophetic ancestry. It was said that whenever Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spoke of his ancestry, he would stop at Adnan and say, "Genealogists tell lies," and did not go farther than him. A group of scholars, however, favoring the probability of going beyond Adnan, considering the aforementioned hadith to be unauthentic, they went on to say that there were exactly 40 fathers between Adnan and Ibrahim, peace be upon him. Nizar, Ma'ad's only son, had 4 sons who branched out into the 4 great tribes. 4 tribes. Ayad, Anmar, Rabia, and Mudar. These last 2 sub-branched into several tribes. Rabia fathered Asad, Anaza, Abdul Qais, and Wa'il's 2 sons, Bakr and Taglib, Hanifa, and many others. Mudar tribes branched out into 2 great divisions, Qais Ailan bin Mudar, and tribes of Elias bin Mudar. From Qais Ailan came Banu Sulaim, Banu Hawazin, and Banu Katafan, of whom descended Abs, Duhubyan, Asha, and Ghani bin Asur. From Elias bin Mudar came Tamin bin Murrah, Hudhail bin Mudrika, Banu Asad bin Khuzaimah, and the tribe of Kina bin Khuzaimah, of whom came Quraysh, the descendants of Fir bin Malik bin An-Nadr bin Kinana. Quraysh branched out into 2 various tribes, the most famous of whom were Juma, Sam, Adi, Makhzum, Tayyim, Sahra, and the tribes of Qusay bin Kalib, consisting of Abdu Dar bin Qusay, Asad bin Abdul Uzza bin Qusay, and Abd Manaf bin Qusay. There were 4 divisions of the tribe of Abin Manaf: Abd Shams, Nafal, Mutalib, and Hashim. It is, however, from the family of Hashim that Allah selected the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, bin Abdullah bin Abdul Muttalib bin Hashim. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, Allah selected Ishmael from the sons of Ibrahim, Kinana from the sons of Ishmael, Quraysh from the sons of Kinana, Hashim from the sons of Quraysh, and he selected me from the sons of Hashim. Al-Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib quoted Allah's Prophet, peace be upon him, as saying, Allah created the creatures and made me among the best of them. He chose the tribes and selected me from the best whereof. And he chose families and made me among the best of them. Then he chose the households, making me among the best of their households. I am the best of them in person and the best of them in household. End quote. Wow, there's a lot of genealogy in here. It really reminds me of the Old Testament so far. And we're gonna learn about the Romans. You know what's cool is we don't learn that in class. I've never even seen Middle Eastern or that region of the world's history. I've seen a history of Mexico, history of Spain, history of the United States, obviously, of Russia. I've seen it of Russia, but I've never seen it of the Middle East. So what's fascinating is we're gonna see this from both sides, I think, from the Romans and the Arab side. I'm excited. Okay, I'll cut it off here, that way it doesn't freeze on us. Okay, family.